birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life. Oh, and I'm feeling good. Fish in the sea, you know how I feel. River running free, you know how I feel. Blossom on the tree, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new
Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to Phoenix Raceway for the second to last race of the season and the cutoff race for the Final Four. Glad to have y'all here on V-Speed. Smells like a new office in here. I like it. Smells nice. And we are down to just 2 races to see who takes the championship here in the Right Now Roofing Xfinity Series here in Goat Locker Racing. I want to thank our main sponsor, Right Now Roofing, for their sponsorship of this series. And here we are. You've got one opportunity, unless your name, of course, is Jacob Denson, to move on to the next round. Jacob locked himself in last week, and here we are ready to roll again for tonight. You see he's locked into the Final Four. That means there's only 3 spots that are going to be available moving forward to next week at Iowa. You got Trevor McManus. He's on the outside looking in. He is well down the standings. He is going to likely need a win or a whole lot of bad luck from other folks to get in. So Trevor McManus, all about the win here tonight. He's going to have to really hustle to get this thing done. We're going to talk to him before the race. Jake Ellingson, he feels good. He's sitting there in second place, but he's going to need a good race. He doesn't need to have a bad race. to be able to make it in. He should be pretty safe. Patrick Dravick, though, only 3 points above the cutoff line. Scott Phelps there is right on the cutoff with Jamie Barkus just 2 points behind, or 3 points behind him. George Jewell will be just a few more back, so it is real tight. You can't afford to have a bad race if you're going to race for a championship next week, and you're going to see it all here right on V-Speed. I'm Eddie Smith. Boy, I'm glad to have all of you here watching. It's going to be a great show. Yeah, we're on V-Speed now, and I love that. Glad to be a part, finally, of wasting my time on another channel. We could be on the main one. I'll tell you what, it's nice. They got leather. They got air conditioning. They got a mini fridge. It sure is nice in the studio, so glad to be a part of it. All right, guys. Well, lots to talk about, and it's going to be a fantastic race. Let's take a look where we came from and where we're headed. You can see already down to the final race in the playoffs. You said that championship for next week, sitting there in Iowa, which I think will be an incredible race, and it'll all be here on V-Speed. Let's take a look at your track. Phoenix Raceway, that's where we're going to be running to lock themselves into the playoffs. And this is a tough track to do it. I'm glad it's not the final race, but it's going to be tough. There's going to be a lot of frustration trying to pass, trying to make stuff happen. But you see the track, very odd shape. Got that dog leg. Guys are going to be going down. That's a lot of opportunity for time to make up some space, but also a lot of opportunity for mistakes. So 1 mile in length. And it's a very, very unique track. There's nothing quite like it. Well, I'll tell you what, Trevor McManus. Oh, he's not in Discord. So I can't pull him up into the booth. So we'll bring up Jamie Barkus and we'll talk to him about this race. Jamie, well, we talked a little bit of pre-race about what you had to do. You're just 3 points out. That means you got to finish 3 points ahead or 4 spots ahead of Scott Phelps. What's your plan? You're sitting on the inside row of number 2. What's the plan tonight?
He's really keeping good speed throughout that. So I look for him to make his way up here, and he's probably going to be my favorite to win tonight. I just don't think I've got the long run speed to do it. Scott Phelps, I see him back there in 11th, but that dude every week, you don't ever see him until the end, and then all of a sudden there he is. So I'm just going to try to hang out, try to stay right where I'm at, and hopefully it's going to be good enough.
All right. Well, there you have it. Good luck tonight, Jamie.
Thanks, man.
Not a whole lot of confidence coming out of that driver, but I think it's just humility. That's just that, hey, I'm not going to sit here and be braggadocious. We're going to go out here. He's definitely wanting to move on and fight for that Final Four, but spots are limited. And right now, Trevor McMahon is doing exactly what he needs to do, starting up front, and he has got that pole. And we're going to jump right into your grid, and we'll see where everybody is going to start here tonight. All right, on that front row is Trevor McManus. He's got to win here tonight. I mean, points is going to be tough for him, so a win will make all that go away. Tanner Bethea going to start outside of the front row. In third is going to be Jamie Barkus with Jacob Denson, last week's winner, and Final Four driver. He's locked in there in fourth. In fifth is going to be Levi McCarty. Seeing a lot of speed out of him and Craig Bontrager as they roll off in fifth and sixth. Charlie Harcum. Disappointing season for him. He had been up front and racing. He was going to be in this hunt for the Final Four and then just got taken out and ended up missing this round of the playoffs. So he'll be starting in seventh. Want to hunt for that win, though. Alex Cruz going to start next to him. Patrick Dravick starting in ninth. Not a great qualifying effort. He's going to have to hustle. George Jewell sitting outside the final cut as well. And he's going to have a good race, maybe even a win to get this thing done. In 11th, it's going to be Scott Phelps. He's right there on the cutoff line. Jacob Ellingson, right. So all these guys right near each other. Chance Taylor in 13th. Johnny Cofield in 14th. 15th is Matt Knights. Tyler Justice in 16th. 17th, Bobby Germain with John Anthony in 18th. And Jonathan Barker rounds out your field. Let's take a look at your race analysis. We get ready to go green. 115 laps here. 4 tire sets total available. 2 green white checkers, 100% fuel load. Fixed setup. They do have 1 fast repair, and fuel run's going to be anywhere between 75 and 80 laps. Woo! Boy, oh boy, I'm ready to go, and so are they here. They've got the pace cars pulling in. Trevor McManus is going to lead us down into the Geico restart zone. And green flag is out here at Phoenix Raceway. You see they go right down to the apron, all fanning out 3, 4, 5 wide. Let's see if they make it into turn number 1. They do. No issues. I don't know. I think I might have heard a little bit of wall banging there, but we love to see that. Comes off the quarter. Trevor McManus is going to have the lead as they go down into turn 1. And see somebody way up the track. I don't know who that is. It looks like Alex Cruz. Man, up there. But I'll tell you what, Trevor McManus locked in tonight. We are talking about what he's got to do, and this is it right here. He cannot play around at all. He's got to go. He's got to get this win if he's going to move on to the next round. So I expect to see Trevor to be a he's not going to – you're not going to pass him easily. I can tell you that right now. We'll take a little on-board look with Trevor as he leads the first couple of laps. And, yeah, Tanner Bethea trying to keep up, but Trevor McManus setting the fastest lap. Then Patrick Drabick sets the fastest lap on the same lap. So both these drivers are really hustling at the moment on lap 3. I mean, your whole season comes down to this, and we've talked a little bit about the these stages here, not the stages in the race, but the playoff rounds only being 2 rounds, and that really ramps up the intensity. And last week, Trevor needed to have a good race and just did not have a good one, and ended up now in a really tough spot where he's got to go out there and win. And you can tell he has been putting in the work, qualified on the pole, and is starting to pull away. Now, Trevor has to maintain those tires. We're going to see a lot of green flag racing. I would imagine the likelihood of these cautions are going to be very low. So you're going to have to manage your tires, be there at the end of these runs. I mean, a 70-lap fuel run is a long time. That is a long, long time. So you got to make sure you take care of those tires, because if we don't get cautions and you end up falling backwards, it could be a long race. So Trevor has a small gap, but definitely hoping to just manage that for a while. To see Levi McCarty down, looking to the inside of Tanner Bethea, trying to take over that second spot with Jamie Barkus and Patrick Drabick there waiting in the wings, with last week's winner, Jacob Denson, right behind them. Everybody getting single file, and Phoenix is a fun racetrack. I hate it in real life, but I actually really love it on the sim sometimes. It just depends on the car that you drive it on. And I think the Xfinity car really fits the bill for a lot of it just works for a lot of tracks. It's a lot of fun. The problem with these tracks, this specifically Phoenix, is there's a lot of problem areas. We just went through the dog leg there. That's a problem area. You just never know where the guy you're going to race. See Jamie Barkus dive to the inside. What a big dive to the inside of Levi McCarty. And you could see the difficulty of the track, is Levi's going to get a little bit of that wall. But it's going to be incredibly difficult to make these passes. And I think Levi was trying to let Barkus go, and I think Patrick would have filled that gap there. But, yeah, I mean, you see Patrick Drabick go all the way down to the inside here. He's going to look to the inside, try to gain a little bit. There is a little bit of time gain there if you can utilize that properly. The problem is you don't know if that guy is going to give you the room off the corner as he almost makes contact off the corner. So this track requires a lot of patience. It's going to be very difficult to make these passes. You can really hold a guy down. This car, every car here at Phoenix just doesn't turn very well middle often. Everything is so tight. You're not able to get the back end, sort of turned around. You can see right here, the car just pushes out to that outside wall. And when you're on the inside, you're not able to use the whole track. And so it's going to be incredibly difficult to make those passes. But right now, I mean, Jamie Barker's making me look like a fool out there, because he has gone by 2 drivers in 2 laps and has gotten up to that second position. And this is exactly what Jamie needs to do. If he go up there and lead a lap, that would be good as well if he can get up there and pass Trevor. But Jamie not in a must-win situation. He's in a must-finish good situation. Right now, it would be in the playoffs. If this race ended right now with Scott Phelps running in that 7th position, he should be good to go. So this is exactly what Marcus needs to do. Now, of course, any of the drivers that are on that playoff graphic, if they win, have an opportunity to get in. Jacob, Patrick, Scott, Jamie, George Jewell, Chance Taylor, Trevor McManus, all those drivers, if they win, they get into the playoffs. Man, Patrick Drapick again having some issues, so a little bit of nerves maybe. You know, Patrick and I talked to them before the race. Patrick and Jacob, they are good. They just can't have catastrophic failure. And we saw Jacob Ellingson do that in the Truck Series, and I know he doesn't want me to talk about it, but it's just part of it. That's what racing is, and that's what happened. He had the playoff spot on the last lap, racing a little bit too hard, gets loose, and now he's out of the playoffs. So that's how quickly it all can change, and this round is one of the hardest. When you get down to the final 8, those 8 drivers are something else, and you have to be dang near perfect if you're going to get up there and get into that final 4. That is so difficult to do. So Patrick being a little aggressive, trying to follow his teammate, and I think his team has kind of pegged him as the guy to beat on Goat Locker Racing. So, you know, maybe a little bit of pressure from his teammate. He feel like he needs to go quickly, but right now he's falling all the way back from 5th position back to 8th. So he's going to have a little bit of work to do, but got plenty of time to do it. Down on the inside, you see him using that dog leg. Does gain you just enough to make it worth it. Roll right there on that yellow line. Might slip that left front tire down on the aprons. Oh, they're going to make contact. Bontrager gets tight off the corner and hits the outside wall and comes down and smacks the 07 of Patrick Drapick. Bontrager is going to exit out almost immediately, and unfortunately for Patrick Drapick, he's going to have to come down pit road. I don't think that car was driving very good when he had that contact, and he's going to have to come back and maybe get that fast repair, at least some damage fix. You can see the left front damage he's got on that car. Let's take a look what happened there. It's about a half a lap before. See him trying to work down to the inside, and that's when we kind of picked it up right here. You're going to watch off the corner. I've talked about it being real tight off these exits. I don't know what it is about this track, but it's so difficult to make it work. And you'll see off the corner, Craig's going to gas it up, just not able to make the exit. And when he does, comes right across the nose of Patrick Drapick. And you see the right front of that 07 comes up off the ground. You can see him going back and forth. So some damage to that 07. He'll come down pit road for sure. And you can't see, but there he is on pit road. And it looks like he is just going to try to get some damage fixed. I can't tell if he's used his fast repair or not yet. He has. So Patrick Drapick here on lap 17 already used his one and only fast repair. So early issues for some playoff drivers. Just the way that it goes. But you have to fight through it. Can't give up. I don't think Patrick has give up in him. So he'll get up there and keep battling. But Jamie Barker stays out on the track. Trevor McManus comes down pit road, gets 4 tires. I think this will be a great barometer to see how this is going to play out. Nobody can make it on fuel from here. 75 to 80 laps was the range I was given. So not even close to being able to make it. But they do have those tire sets available. And with the possibility of long green flag runs, you want to use those if you can. We'll see how big a difference they make. Trevor McManus drops back to 10th. Are they going to be good enough to drive back up to the front and retake the lead? After 18 laps, I can't say I don't hate the call. If we get a green flag run and we go long, those 18 laps will definitely feel like an eternity at the end of it. So. These are the strategy calls. Jamie's going to have a good opportunity to get some of that clean air, try to get out there, lead some laps, and try to hold off these 4 tires that are going to be charging up from the rear. Pace car pulls off. You have to go all the way down. I guess this is the back straightaway. This is the old front stretch. I really haven't gotten used to the way this new Phoenix is. So just an odd layout, but it definitely provides some pretty good racing in real life. And we're going to see it all right here as they go into the Geico restart zone. Barker's going to have control of the restart. Going to take a big jump as Denson just does not get going. And then watch right here. They're all going to fan out. Ellingson all the way down to the bottom. You see some big gaps here as they go down into turn 1. Go on board here with Trevor McManus. Oh, my goodness. Johnny Cofield smashes into the inside wall. Holy cow. Watch this. I think he's blinking out. And I think maybe somebody told him, and so he's going to try to, I don't know if he meant to come down pit road, just got part of that apron, but golly, he is in bad shape, and he calls it quits. But Trevor McManus, look at him, going 3 wide off this corner. And this is where me and Trevor differ. I know I have the tires. I know I don't have to get it done right now, but Trevor just does not have quit and go slow in him. He's going to cut right across Patrick Dravick's front bumper as Patrick was almost to the inside, but Trevor McManus doesn't know how to take it easy. For better or worse, he's just not able to do it, and he's got the tires. He feels like he has to get it right then and now. And you can see being very aggressive, but I feel like he puts himself in some bad situations. 3 wide here at Phoenix, very difficult. And sometimes we've already seen with Craig Bontrager and Patrick Dravick, somebody else can make the mistake and ruin your race. So Trevor being very aggressive, but he does have Patrick Dravick in the same situation right behind him, so he can't just let him go. He might be fighting him later on and not be able to pass him. As, man, they are really moving up through the field now as Levi McCarty looks down to the inside of Marcus, gives him a little tap, and they have to check up a little bit. Here comes the show, number 9 of Trevor McManus. Down on the inside, he makes it 3 wide. Now he's to the inside of Marcus. 3 wide for the lead, Trevor McManus. If he's listening to the broadcast, he's going, yeah, that's why I'm so aggressive, because look at there. I'm back out front. Oh, no! Jamie Marcus goes spinning down the back straightaway. Big damage for that 15, and that is not what he needed to happen. Playoff drivers, issues, time non-stop so far after only 24 laps. We've got 2 Goat Locker drivers who have had issues and are in real big trouble of losing their points gap. And you see the damage to that 15, and we'll try to go back real quick and see exactly what happened as we're already a little bit behind. But you're going to see just 3 wide watching the 15. Dravick thought about going in, he backs off, then gasses it back up. He's going to go down to the inside. And, yeah, I mean, Marcus and Tanner Bethea just come together off the corner as they're both kind of really pushing that wide. We'll watch from on board Marcus here. You see Trevor McManus go right on by. You're going to see these guys just come together. And when they do, it comes right across the bumper of the 07, which is really nothing that Patrick will do there. On board, Pat. Giving him plenty of room, and yeah, when that contact is made, just nowhere he can go. Well, Jonathan Barker has called it quits, and it looks like Tyler Justice has called it quits as well. So those drivers are out of this thing, and everybody else who did not come down pit road before, I think, came down this time. So those who just pitted, they did not want to see that caution, that's for sure, as they are now on 8-lap older tires than Jacob Denson, who is sitting there in 6th, Jacob Ellingson in 7th, Scott Phelps in 8th, Charlie Harkle 9th, Chance Taylor 10th, all those guys on brand new tires. Nobody took 2, so Patrick, with that one fast repair already used, Jamie Barkus now with his fast repair gone. And, the best thing that's happening, though, for those two guys is that the guys are falling out of this race. We've got 5 retirees now, so only 14 drivers are still in this thing. And those are points that you don't have to worry about. So if you're good on points, if you're Jacob Ellingson, if you're Patrick Dravick, you feel pretty good about that, as that allows you to kind of breathe a little bit easier, even if you have some issues. So those drivers got to be feeling pretty good about that. But Trevor out front drove all the way up through the field there on that little run that we had, about a 9-lap run, and he was able to get back out front. Well, want to welcome all of the newcomers to V-Speed. Glad to have y'all. We've been called VSRN V-Speed Racing Network for so long, and I don't know what we've been waiting on, but finally decided to consolidate everything, hop onto one channel. So happy to be on the main channel tonight and moving forward, hoping to continue to do some really, really cool things here over at V-Speed. If you're not subscribed and you were subscribed over to VSRN, definitely go over there, hit that subscribe button, and that just helps visibility for everybody to all the leagues that V-Speed covers. Well, we've already seen some pretty aggressive racing. We'll see that out of those who went down pit road. Now, 18 laps was the differential last pit stop. So I think Trevor, Patrick, Levi, George, those guys who pitted last time, got to feel pretty good right now, because the difference is not going to be that big this time. So Trevor in a good spot here, goes to the Geico restart zone. Got to slow up Levi and just take a dive down into the apron. And you're going to see he gains a ton of time doing that. He's going to have a big advantage, and Patrick Dravick going to do the same thing, and he's going to take over second spot from Levi. And the battle is going on back here. This is where you'll see those new tires. Jacob Denson on the freshest, with George Jewell kind of leading up. He's the caboose of the older tires. George needing a great race. He's going to need about 6 points to point himself in. He has got a tough situation for this race, but currently running in 5th position, but he is going to be under fire soon. Look at this behind him. For the race, George Jewell was actually 5 points below the cutoff. So right now he would be pretty close to that cutoff. Might actually be in, with Barkus back in 13th, and Scott Phelps is in 8th position right behind him. Scott Phelps has probably the most nerve-wracking position coming into this race, because he's right there on that cutoff. But he's so good on the long runs. He's such a good driver. He's always pretty clean. He doesn't really get his nose dirty, and he is always there at the end of these runs. So he doesn't need to win. He just needs to have a better race than Jamie Barkus, have a better race than George Jewell, or just keep him in his sights. If you see Barkus there at the end of the run, if you're right on his bumper, you're going to get in. So Scott Phelps, I think, has a great opportunity. He just needs to see it to the end. And we've already seen playoff drivers have issues, so nobody is immune to it. As Jacob Ellingson on those fresh tires now moving up to the front, and he is getting with it at the moment. See just how much he was able to get down into the corner, roll the center so much better, and get off the corner, and dives it down to the entry of this corner. He can actually not be able to get on the throttle, as well as his teammate, who just kind of flies and gets a huge run off the corner. Now he is looking down to the inside of Trevor McManus for that lead. So Patrick Dravick says, oh, okay, you're not going to pass me. I'm going to go up there and just battle for the lead, as they're almost making contact. Look at this. Playoff drivers, door banging here on lap 33. Patrick, I'm telling you right now, this is a different Patrick. This is the Patrick I know. This is the Patrick that's going to go up there and make contact with you, make you nervous, kind of lean on you just a little bit. That's the Patrick that I remember racing. He's going to get up there and kind of give you a shove in the middle of the corner. And, oh, my goodness, Trevor McManus fighting hard to try to keep Jacob Ellingson behind him. He was really leaning down on that 27. The 27 has those fresher tires. So does Jacob Denson, who is now coming up here. And look how quickly Patrick Drabick falls back as they're going to go 3 wide here down through the dog leg. Man, this is some awesome racing. I love to see it. Makes me a little bit nervous, and Trevor McManus probably so dang aggravated that caution came out because he had a great strategy. Now he is on the worst strategy, but only 8 laps difference. Just have to hold on to it, save those tires, be there at the end of this long run. Don't have to get it all right here. Fighting hard for this lead against somebody with fresher tires. I just don't think is going to play out like he needs to, but he's got to have a win. He's got to do whatever it takes. Finishing second for Trevor is really not an option if he plans on racing for a championship. So I definitely can understand why he would fight as hard as he is. And yeah, we're starting to see those new tires make a pretty big difference here at the moment. We see some discussion in chat, so we always want to highlight some of those folks. We got Ray Ellingson, Miss Jewel. We got Jonathan Barker, who was in the race, who's out of it, and he is saying he was disqualified for not serving a penalty. And Ray is right, Jonathan Barker. You have 3 laps once a penalty is given to serve it, and if you don't, you get disqualified. Tough part, iRacing has automatic black flags, and this series does not have live race control. So it's frustrating when that stuff happens, as you want to plead your case, but unfortunately in this series, iRacing is a simulation. hard to argue with them. When it says you got a penalty, you got to come down. You got to serve it quickly, or it definitely will disqualify you. So bummer to see that for Jonathan Barker, one of the newer drivers in the series. Definitely don't like to see that. You know, as far as why that is, I think that would be a really good question. But I think, I mean, at some point in real life, you have to serve a black flag. I mean, Tony Stewart, famously stayed out and said, I'm not serving it. And he just stayed out on the track, raced all the way to the end, and he was disqualified, if I remember correctly. So just like in real life, if you don't serve a penalty, they will disqualify you, and it's no different here. As we continue to watch this battle for second place, Trevor is really trying to fight to keep Jacob behind him. Jacob really not putting the pressure on too much, but he does have fresher tires, so it's going to be hard for Trevor to hold him off for too long. Right now, though, Jacob Ellingson has pulled away from this little battle here for second. About 1.3 seconds is Ellingson, as he's putting down some of the fastest on the track. Actually is the fastest by quite a bit. So see Patrick going backwards to Scott Phelps, talking about him right there on the cutoff line. He is doing exactly what he needs to do. He's got those fresher tires. Patrick Drabick going backwards, just caught on the other side of that strategy call. It's always frustrating because I think they made the right call the first time, and now they didn't have a choice. They're only limited to 4 tire sets, so that means they had 3 in the pits. They're on their second. You really can't risk coming down after 8 laps and taking a third set. That could leave you in real bad shape towards the end. So they're just gonna have to live with the decision. That's the fun part of racing is you need a little bit of luck to win these things. But there's still plenty of time. The caution right now would sort of reset everything, and everything would be back equal as far as tires would go. But everybody's going to have a chance to come down pit road. The problem is it's going to be a long run. to the end. I mean, it's going to be a long run to that fuel run. So, I don't know. I don't know what these guys might do. If I'm desperate, if I'm somebody who, if I feel like the race is trending, everybody's spread out, there's just not an opportunity for a caution, you may come on down early and hope that you're able to make up the time. We've seen tires make a pretty big difference. I mean, they're falling off about a second so far after about 30 laps. So, come on down pit road, either draw in everybody else and then you get on equal tires. The sooner, if you're going to do that, the sooner you do it, the better. Because you can make up a ton of time on those fresh tires. I think we're definitely in the window. So somebody can do it at any point. I think if I'm falling back, maybe not Trevor McManus, who's sitting there in second place, just 2 seconds back. Yeah, I don't know. I might do it. I might just come on down pit road. Now, the danger is you have to unlap yourself, and, you're going to go a lap down. If caution comes out, the race is over. So it's not an easy decision, I'm going to tell you. These guys who are on those older tires, I do not envy them at all. But if I need a win, if I have to have it, like Trevor McManus, you got to do something wild and crazy, I think. I think you got to go up there and make a wild decision and go for it. Because right now he's just bleeding time and time and time until eventually, Jake Ellingson is going to keep pulling away ever so slightly. And by the time they have their pit stop, I mean, it's only going to be a few, by the time they make the pit stop, they will only have about 20 or so, 20, 30 laps left to go. That won't be much time to take advantage of it. So we'll see what they do. I mean, it's hard to say in the moment what the right decision is, and you're just kind of hoping for the caution if you're McManus, Patrick, and those drivers who stayed out. You're just hoping that a caution flag comes out. Yeah, shout out to Doug Ellingson. Glad to hear that he is home and out of the hospital, I believe. He's in chat, so that's a good thing. So, Doug, glad to have you back. Looking forward to seeing you back on the track. Sorry that you've been having issues, but the Goat Locker here at V-Speed, we definitely hope that you got the gears greased and you're back at it. Jacob Denson continues to put pressure here on Trevor McManus. I start to see it every single lap. Denson just seems to be a little bit better and a little bit better. But just being patient around Trevor, knowing how desperate Trevor is going to be. Doesn't want to put either one of them in a position. Jacob he is locked in. So, he's pretty carefree at the moment. But Jacob has always been, I think, and as far as I know, I can't remember a time that Jacob was a dirty driver. But he's going to look down to the inside here. And so far, Jacob has been sort of a Martin Truex. Everybody talks about Martin Truex Jr. When he wins races, they're boring, and Jacob Benson exactly that way. And we talked about it last week. Once he gets out front, he is unbeatable. When he's in traffic, though, he is definitely beatable. So just an interesting driving style, or just a way of being for Denson. It's scary for the competition, because if he gets out front in Iowa, he is going to be in trouble. I think the second race of the season at Las Vegas, he was, he led 80, 90% of the race. He got out front, and he just never looked back. So Denson has, he's been pretty incredible this season. I'm glad to have him. Oh, Doug is still in the hospital. Well, Doug, all right, buddy. Well, we're thinking about you. Hope you get out of there pretty quickly. As here comes Harcum down to the inside. Almost did a four-wheel slide. Maybe trying to get Patrick to lift a little bit. And you see Jamie Barkus there back right behind him. He is up to 7th. He is on fresh tires as well, taking it easy. Oh, my goodness, as Patrick and Harcum almost make the door contact off the corner, and Harcum's going to take over that spot. And you see George Jewell back there in 8th. He made a little contact with the wall. Now here comes Jamie Barkus down to the inside of Patrick Dravick. You see that outside line being very good to Patrick. Well, if you're wondering who's leading this race, there he is right there, Jacob Ellingson. Able to get around all the drivers there on that restart, and he is taken off. 2.2 seconds is the lead now. Jacob Denson is a little bit faster, at least that last lap. So we'll see as they cross the line what the lap times are and see if Jacob Denson's going to be closing in on Ellingson here. As they come to the stripe, Ellingson runs an 8.76. Jacob Denson 7.79. So Denson is a good bit faster. A tenth is a lot right now, so he is going to slowly try to draw in Jacob Ellingson, who had really gotten out there pretty quickly. I mean, at this rate, I don't think that Denson will be able to catch him. I think by the time he does, it'll be time for pit stops. But I'm just interested to see who does anything about this strategy call. At this point, I said already, I think you can go from here to the end. So I'm just really interested to see if Trevor McManus, Patrick Drabick, those guys decide to come on down pit road and try to gain a little bit of this time back if they can. I think might be a little bit too late to do it now. I think he had to come in right as the window opened and hope that everything cycles around. But Trevor currently running in third. We'll see what he decides to do, as we just have about 55 laps to go. So it's a short race here at Phoenix, 115 laps, about less than 30 seconds a lap. That's a pretty quick little race here. So we are well over halfway. So this thing's going to be over before you know it. Now coming into this race, Jacob Ellingson was, he was only 9 points above the cutoff. Denson locked in, but Ellingson, he needed to have a really good race, and a win would just make it the easiest route into the Final Four. A lot of good battles going on all over the track. We'll take a look here at Levi McCarty, George Jewell, and Alex Cruz. This is the battle for 8th, 9th, and 10th. None of these drivers, or the two behind, are not in the playoffs. George just trying to hang on to it, trying to get a little bit of points. Currently at the moment, he would be out of the playoffs, so George is going to need sort of a miracle here, a late race caution or something to get this thing back towards the front. He is on those older tires with the other drivers, so he is slowly falling back here on this run, and which has been a pretty incredible season for George Jewell. No wins, but still really consistent all season long, and I think he had just as good as opportunities as any of the 8 that are that were in this playoffs. Now another driver who I thought maybe last week would lock himself in, just came up not able to get it done, but Chance currently sitting well outside the playoffs. He really needs to win to get in. He's pretty far back. He's further back down there with Trevor McManus, so they are really in must-win situations. I mean, 6 points is not that much, so if Scott Phelps, Jamie Barkus, and George Jewell have an issue, then he's got a shot where he's running. Yeah, at this moment, it's really, I mean, with 5 drivers already out of the race, he really needs to get that win. So well, we'll keep an eye out here on Jamie Barkus. He's got to keep Scott Phelps in his sights. He's got to finish ahead of him. So at the moment, he's been able to make up a little bit of time after that incident. But you see Scott Phelps going by right now. He's 2 spots ahead of him. And Jamie has got to get up there and get around him and try to get up towards the front. And if Scott Phelps could run right there in 4th, where he's running right now, he is going to lock himself in to the Final 4. Just nobody's going to be able to point themselves over a Scott Phelps who finishes in the 4th position. So that's a Really good spot for Scott to be in. Everything's sort of spread out as we watch Levi McCarty down on the inside of George Jewell, trying to take over that 8th position. Not quite able to do it as Patrick Dravick right in front of him, almost making contact with the wall maybe again. Patrick, you know, he was only 3 points above the cutoff. So this is going to be really close. The way things are running right now, I mean, Scott Phelps likely would jump to the 3rd position over Patrick Dravick. Dravick would currently be the cutoff spot right now, but he's going to come down pit road. I think he made more contact with the wall. You can see that right front kind of sticking out. Yeah, you see the damage to that right side. So the 07 in trouble. And that's not insignificant damage at all. That is enough to really make a big difference. So he's coming down pit road now to make his stop. You can see how long that pit road is. So we'll see how long he sits on pit road. He can't afford to fix all the damage. So I guess he's going to have to hope that it's enough, or it's not enough to mess with the hand. I don't know what I'm saying. 4 tires and fuel there for the 07. Maybe a little bit of damage fixed on that front end, but got everybody coming down pit road now. We got Alex Cruz, George Jewell going to make their 4-tire stop in fuel, and Jacob Ellingson, your leader, comes down pit road with Trevor McManus right behind him. And how in the hell did Trevor McManus get that close to Jacob Ellingson? I got to go back and see this. We'll take a look at the replay because McManus made up a ton of time, it looks like. You see Ellingson already on pit road, and man, look at how much room he makes up on that entry to pit road. That is impressive. I will tell you that right now. He made up a ton of time on that 27 car. So, well, I mean, great move there for, I think Ellingson was just taking it easy. And you can see how aggressive that Trevor McManus was. So, he makes up a ton of time, and he's actually going to beat Jacob Ellingson on pit road, it looks like. So, wow, what a great turn of events for Trevor McManus, who is going to turn his race around. He's been holding on to those tires, being just trying to hold on to his pit stop, and that finally came, and he's able to jump over your leader, Jacob Ellingson. So, I mean, incredible job by Trevor McManus. He's on equal tires, and I think that's bad news for everybody else. Here comes Jacob Denson down pit road. So he is going to make his pit stop here. 4 tires of fuel likely for the 7. Can't imagine anything else. Scott Phelps now brings that 79 machine. Now this is where you can't make the mistake. You can't speed. You can't make bonehead moves. I mean, Trevor was able to make up a ton of time, but able to do it without speeding. That is what you need to do. Now, as they come off of pit road, Trevor McManus, currently your leader is Denson. Hits 2 laps later. Here we go. Battle for the lead as they're going to go around Levi McCarty and try to unlap themselves. Big move here. McManus trying to hold on to the spot, but Ellingson looking down to the inside. Oh, they're going to make contact, and Trevor McManus goes around. Ellingson keeps pushing him, straightens him back up. No caution, though. No caution, but they're going to lose the potential lead as they both lose a ton of spots, and Patrick Dravick will inherit the lead after that contact. And you can see Trevor McManus not happy about that. He's all over the back bumper of Ellingson. And that might be it for Ellingson. Trevor McManus all over the back bumper of the 27. Patrick Dravick will inherit the lead with Jamie Barkins just 4/10 behind him. Oh, and he almost turned Jacob Ellingson. Ellingson able to hang on to it, but he's going to lose his rear bumper, and that's big for Ellingson. Oh, his bumper goes back on. But now Trevor's got a lot of work to do. He's going to have he's got a lot of time to catch up to the lead. But contact between Jacob Ellingson and Trevor McManus. Battle for what would eventually be the lead. Levi McCarty. You see McManus go around right there. And Trevor not far back from the lead. He could definitely get caught up. I mean, just disappointing, though, because he had really done a great job getting on and off pit road only for that contact, and he was really leaning on the 27. There was just not a whole lot of room there. And, contact was made, and no caution came out. So, continue to watch Levi McCarty, Matt Knights. Your 1-2, still waiting on them to come down pit road. They got a long way to go before, if they're going to run it all the way out. 61 laps, 52 laps between them. But they're going to get eat up by these tires. They're not going to have enough time to make anything happen. Now, Patrick Dravick, of all the guys that have had troubles, to think that Patrick Dravick will inherit this lead once the race cycles out is pretty unbelievable. Now, currently, the big thing about these three drivers here is if the race ends, Patrick Dravick will be in by points, no matter if he finishes first, second, third, or fourth. So he doesn't need to win. Now, his teammate, Jamie Barker's right behind him. He needs to win. You see Jacob Denson, who is already locked in, right behind him. So what do these guys do? I think they have to fight Jacob Denson as hard as they possibly can, but be careful because look here. Trevor McManus fighting back, going to try to make up that ground that he lost and get up there and try to snag a win as well. So we'll see with these two drivers right here. They're going to have to be careful and not let Denson get around them, as Patrick doesn't need the win, but his teammate absolutely has to have a win. Well, at the current moment, I guess he doesn't have to. He can finish right here and probably make it in by points. Scott Phelps back in the 9th position, but it looks like Denson not going to be denied. It's going to go to the outside. We'll see if he's able to complete the pass. Got a nice run through the dog leg. The 15 going to drive it really deep into the corner. I think Denson's going to have it. 2-lap fresher tires. Comes off the quarter, and he does. He's got second place. Or, well, what will be second place, excuse me, as McCarty and Knights are still out on the track. We're going to stay right here, though. Down on the inside, and nothing that these two can do, it looks like, to hold off that number 7. Dravick's going to drive it deep into the corner, though. Not going to give up easy. Denson with all the power here. He knows that he doesn't have anything to fight for. So if they want to make contact, door bang, lean on me, that's perfectly fine. He's going to dive down to the inside. Gets a great run across the start-finish line, but Dravick has been pretty good right there all race long. Dravick going to drive it deep into the corner yet again, trying to hold up that 7. The 7 versus the 07 forward, what will be the lead. Coming off the corner, Denson has got the run. Does he have him cleared? He does. Trevor McManus starting to creep up into the picture. There's no way that McManus can point himself into this thing. He's got to go up there and get the win. So he is going to be hauling the mail for the next 30 laps. He was definitely hoping that Denson would get held up just a little bit more, as that's allowed Trevor to be able to catch back up. As Matt Knights there, still out on the track, going to get past the gone all the way around and past Matt Knights. So Knights going to drop outside the top 5, and Jacob Denson will take up the lead. Levi McCarty still has quite a few laps, I think, before he has to pit. He would love to see a caution at this moment. That would be a big deal. But we see that it's going to be difficult to get those cautions because Trevor McManus was, he was at a daggum 90-degree angle. And no caution came out, so it's going to take a lot here for that to happen. And as far as the point totals go and who will be the final 4, we will definitely wait it out, see if iRacing will update, and we'll give you your final four before the end of this thing as Trevor drives it deep into the corner. He's really pushing that 9 car to its limits. Gets a little wide there on exit. Now going to drive in really deep, try to clear the 15, and now set his sights on the 07. And right now, Marcus teetering on the edge of being in the clear. It's really not clear on who's where. Is man, look at Trevor. Oh, he locks him up, getting into the corner, trying to stay off the 07. And Jamie's going to take advantage of it, up in the 3rd spot. And currently, he is in the playoffs. He has got those 4 spots over Scott Phelps. That's exactly what he needed. Now he needs to run really, really good laps. Is Scott Phelps back there? Going to be battling with Jacob Ellingson here pretty soon. Scott Phelps has the freshest tires out of any of these guys, so he's got all he needs. But he's going to have to get up there and make a couple spots up quickly. He doesn't have a whole lot of time to waste. And I don't know if Jacob Ellingson is going to be too nice and just let him go. So this points battle is really, really tight. It is going to be, it's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out. Ellingson. You see Trevor driving into the corner. Charlie Harcum goes by the 9. And, I mean, at this point, I think he's just hoping for that caution. He wants that caution flag. If he can get it, Trevor is going to be back into this thing for sure. But as far as winning this race, he's got a lot to ask. It's going to be about it's about 2 seconds or so he's going to have to make up to run down Jacob Denson here. So we'll see if he's able to do it. He's been close, made a couple of mistakes that has now put him even more behind the 8 ball. We'll see what he can do. Harcum currently looks like one of the faster drivers on the track at the moment. He is really scooting. Here comes Trevor. Trevor can get the max out of a car, but you can just see how difficult it is, even when you're driving the hell out of it. To make those moves, the car is just so tight trying to get down. You have to slow way down here, get a good run, get off the throttle, get on the throttle, and you carry that speed all the way down into 1 and 2 where you really drive this out. You drive so deep into the corner. Levi McCarty is still currently your leader. However, he has not made his final stop. He's got a 14-second lead over Jacob Denson, but he will have to come down pit road at some point. So currently Jacob Denson in second is your leader by about 9/10 over Jamie Barkus, who has had an incredible recovery and is actually a little bit faster. At least I think Denson might have been dealing with some lap traffic. We'll see what Barkus is. He might have been holding. He might have been playing it close to the chest, because I'm telling you what, Barkus, I talked to him before the race, and he said, yeah, I don't, we talked to him in the interview. Well, I don't really feel like, I think my teammate's going to be faster, blah, 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 blah. And look at him. Just 9/10 of a second off the lead. He can go up there and get this win. He doesn't have to worry about points. Now, Scott Phelps is now 4 spots behind Marcus. There's Scott Phelps. He is in 7th position. He is on fresher tires, but that car does not look like it's handling well. Now, he's got quite a few drivers in front of him. If they make contact, get loose or something like that, he'll pick those spots up, and that'll be all she wrote for Barkus likely. So Barkus going to have to continue to push. He can't rest on points because Scott Phelps is right there, and at the end of this run, he might be able to get up there and sneak a couple spots by the end of it. And I know him and Charlie Harcum are teammates, so, you know, who's to say Harcum doesn't just kind of lift off and let him go? And you say, well, that's not fair. Yes, it is. It's racing. They're teammates. Charlie Harcum doesn't have anything to race for if he's not going to win the race. So if he can help a teammate by just lifting and going, letting him by, then he would absolutely do that. And I think anybody on a team would do something like that. So it's definitely possible. So Barkus is going to have to get up there and get this win. Oh my God, goodness, Trevor McManus turns Charlie Harcum, and there it is, the caution. Caution comes out as McManus gets into the back bumper of the 28 of Charlie Harcum, And, boy, does that change everything. It's great for Levi McCarty, but, boy, that's going to change a lot here as we have less than 20 laps to go. Let's go back and see exactly what happened. We were kind of watching. Go on board with Trevor McManus. They were kind of all over the place. Bobby Germain, lap car there. They were trying to go by him, but Trevor just trying to sneak in there and take advantage of it. Gets the inside position. I mean, it's hard to say, but I think Harcum was maybe more concerned about the lap car than he was about McManus, and it's really close here. McManus drove it down in there, but he's got the corner just fine. And he is turning down towards the yellow line, and I think Harcum actually was just trying to get to the inside of that lap car and just drove across the nose. So it was close. But I definitely don't think Trevor did anything wrong there. That's just a racing deal. Well, pit road going to be wide open. Now everything is thrown up in the air. Who knows at this point? It's going to be crazy. This is why we love Phoenix, because when we get in these moments, even if the racing can be a little dull as the runs go on, this is where it gets exciting because there's so many passing opportunities, aggressive opportunities. See, actually, Levi McCarty, his car just completely gets cleaned up there as he might have taken a faster pair. So great strategy call for Levi. He's going to come out with this lead after he stays out. Oh, no, Trevor McManus takes 2 tires. Oh, my goodness. I can't believe it. Trevor McManus was sitting back there in 6th and takes 2 tires on that stop. I am blown away by that call. Oh, man, I don't know. I just don't know if that's going to be the right call. With the way these tires are handling, as far as new tires are such a big deal, I think those left sides are going to be important, especially in the middle of the corner. I don't know. I can't wait to see how it plays out. I mean, if anybody can do it, it's going to be this 9 car, and I don't want to sound critical of McManus. He's doing what he's got to do. Now, if cautions start to pop off, we have caution after caution, and we're running under yellow flag, he can lead. And it doesn't matter if he's driving on 10 cans. It doesn't matter. He's driving under caution. He'll have that lead. So that may be the Hail Mary that he needed to make sure that he can get up here and win this race. But, man, I feel like he's good enough on 4 tires. He doesn't need to do that. I'm just so blown away at that call. I think he had plenty of speed to get it done. He didn't need to take 2 tires. I think he had 4 tires would have been plenty, and he could have drove up to the front. But I'm excited to see how it plays out. Levi McCarty, they're in 2nd. I mean, great call by him. He was running back outside, right around the top, the backside of the top 10, and stayed out, got the caution he was looking for right at his limit. I mean, he was close to 80 laps, but it run fast enough that he was able to hold on to it, and he gained a ton of track position. So now, what Barkus can't have happen is he cannot have Trevor McManus win this race. That is the worst thing, because Trevor McManus would now go up to 2nd place, and now all of a sudden the cutoff line would be above Barkus. Scott Phelps in 10th, so Barkus will have that spot. But, Jacob Ellingson in 9th. Patrick Drabick in 4th. He's right there. I mean, this is wild. I have no idea. I wish we had live points. If we could do that here, I would definitely be checking those out. But at this moment, I do not know who's going to be in. If Trevor McManus wins, it is going to be it's going to be wild. That's going to change everything up here. So Jamie cannot wait, cannot rest on those points. He's going to have to go out here and make sure Trevor McManus doesn't win this race if he's going to have a shot. He's going to have 4 tires, and he's going to have about 15 laps to get it done. Right here, Trevor has got to get a great jump. We're going to see what those 2 tires can do. He's going to have control of the restart into the Geico restart zone. 15 laps to go here at Phoenix to set the final 4. McManus gets a great jump. They fan out, but Barkus up to the inside, trying to get inside of Levi. Not quite able to do it. Levi drives through 1 and 2, and he has got a nice run off the corner. We'll see what those 2 tires can do, and it looks like not good. Levi down to the inside. Trevor desperately throwing the block, but not able to do anything with it. Goes down to the inside. They make contact as Levi McCarty drives deep into the corner, coming off the corner, across the line. Levi McCarty has the lead. Trevor now in trouble with those two tires. Going to dive down to the inside. No doubt about it. He's going to make contact. Desperation for the 9. Just drives Levi up into the wall. Coming off the corner. And now Jamie Barkus able to take over the top spot. Oh, they're wrecking. The 7 gets turned. The 18 gets turned. Multiple drivers go around and caution will come out. We saw Jacob Denson. He is blowing up. He's okay. He's locked into the Final Four. No big problem for him. Levi McCarty, he went around as well, and George Jewell takes over the 4th spot. So, oh man, this is going to get wild. Let's see if we can take a look and see what happened here to Jacob Denson. These restarts are going to be wild. I mean, Trevor McManus out front was running through people, and I think Denson tries to get down on the inside, then come back up on the track, gets a little bit loose, and there's a driver there. George Jewell was there, and the 7 just drives across his front bumper, and that's what happens when you do that. Watch right here. See, Trevor McManus just puts Levi into the wall, then coming off the corner. I don't think the 7 knew that they were 3 wide, and I think that may be why that happened. But Levi, who made the right call there, just gets bulldozed by Trevor McManus. So, Trevor has to, I don't know. You know what? I'm not going to be critical anymore the rest of this race. They're the drivers. I'm not. I'm just here for the show, and I hope everybody's enjoying it. This is a lot of fun, and this is only going to get more exciting, and there's so much to happen here. Now, Trevor McManus, we've shown that 2 tires was not the right call. He is in desperation mode. He is doing all that he can to try to win this race just by being physical. So, yeah, I mean, he is in bad shape in that 9. Barkus out front. What an incredible race. He spun himself out, really, I think, early in the race. Had to take a faster pair, and has fought his way back up into the lead with less than 10 laps to go when we go green. He is in an opportunity. What am I saying? He has an opportunity to win and get into the Final Four. So, and Jake Bellingson was able to get back up to the 5th spot. Patrick Drapick in 3rd. So we're looking at having 3 GLR guys in the Final Four if it were to end just like this. Now, we've already seen Trevor McManus not happy. He's definitely driving a little mad, and now he's at a disadvantage with those 2 tires. So I think if you're Barkus, you got to know that there's some desperation behind you, and you got to get a good start. You got to be watching that mirror and, be ready for just about anything. Another lap as across the line. We should get the 1 to green, and we're going to have about 8 laps to go when we go back green. Denson was able to get around and get that faster pair, but he is locked in. Scott Phelps is back there in 7th. This would put him out as Barkus is in the lead. Obviously, if he wins, he is in good shape. Even if he finishes 2nd and Scott Phelps finishes in 7th, I think Barkus gets in above him. So George Jewell, who was 2 points behind Barkus, has an opportunity here. If he can make a couple spots up, maybe sneak in there and get a win. Jewell is not out of it. So everybody is still in play at the moment for the playoffs here with just 8 laps to go. I can't believe it. We're going to see what happens here. This is going to be wild. Get ready for it. We're going to give you the blimp cam. We're going to make sure we can see everybody as Barkus through the Geico restart zone is going to have to get a great jump. He's going to back it up just a little bit. Doesn't want to let Trevor get a jump. Green flag is out. Trevor actually gets a pretty good start, but Goat Locker all over the back bumper. He has got no tires. He does have a run, though. He's looking down to the inside, but he's not going to have anywhere to go with it. We'll see what Trevor can do as he drives down into the corner on those 2 tires. He's going to drive up trying to get to the outside. Can he make the exit as he goes around the outside of the 15? We got a battle for the lead. 2 tires, Trevor McManus with 8 laps to go, trying to make it work. Now it works good there. Can he make it work here? Can he do it? Looks like those tires are struggling, but he's able to make it work as they go down through the dogleg. Barkus is going to go down to the inside, all the way down to the wall. He's going to be clear. We'll see. Back down to the corner. Can Trevor do it again as the tires start to heat up? They were equal as he was able to cool them off, but Trevor's doing a great job on the outside, trying to make this work. I mean, nobody is on new tires. They all have a cycle in them, but McManus really fighting hard here to try to hold on to this lead. He's going to dive down to the inside. Oh, my goodness, Ellingson gets a little out of shape, but we're going to stay here on the lead as they got just a few laps to go. The crossover, McManus with 2 tires trying to make this final 4. He's going to get loose off the corner into the wall, and he's going to make contact. No caution. And there it is. Caution is out, and McManus, don't know if he's going to get his spot back, but that's it. Unfortunately for him, the motor is gone. He's already used his fast repair, and Trevor McManus, what a well-fought effort there to try to get back into it, and unfortunately, that motor expired, and he is out of it. Just sitting on track. Don't want to show his pain on his cam, but you can see he's just sitting. The car is dead. There's no motor. He's sitting out on the track, and just know that his season is over with. What a great effort, though. I mean, on those 2 tires, I thought he would be a sitting duck. I thought he had no shot, but, man, he was really driving hard. Just gets a little bit loose as he goes down to the inside. I think he was really good on the outside, and he goes down to the inside. The car just would not respond on exit. And now Barkus has the lead, and Scott Phelps is in second. That's unbelievable, y'all. There are so many storylines. George Jewell actually goes down pit road. I think he might have had some damage. I'm not sure. But he is on pit road, likely getting 4 tires. And I guess, I don't know. I can't believe he's coming down pit road. He must have had some damage and all that. Yeah, he does. So he is trying to repair some of that damage. So George, unfortunately, with that call, is likely going to take him out of this championship hunt. But right now, I mean, this is incredible. After all of that, you think, okay, we don't have any more storylines. No, we do. Patrick Drabick, he is back in 9th. Scott Phelps, who was your bubble driver coming into the race, he's good if he finishes right here. Now, the problem is, if Barkus wins the race, it's going to be close because Jacob Ellingson is in 6th. Patrick Drabick is in 9th. I think they're okay. I mean, Patrick coming into the race, y'all have to forgive me. I'm from Mississippi, so math is hard. But Ellingson was 9 points ahead of Scott Phelps. So Ellingson in 6th. He's going to have that second spot. He's pretty much good to go unless he has catastrophic failure from here on out, because there's really not 9 spots for him to lose comparatively. All right, now the next one in question is Patrick Drabick, who was only 3 points ahead of Scott Phelps. So at the moment, Patrick Drabick is out of the playoffs. If Scott Phelps finishes second, he is in over Patrick Drabick. Drabick will fall out. So Drabick back there in 9th place, he is out of the playoffs if Barkus wins. Now Barkus has to win. Scott Phelps can get up there and pass him and win the race, and Barkus is out. So, I mean, we're just spinning our wheels up here in the broadcast booth, but there is a lot going on at the moment. You know, if you're Patrick Drabick back here, and you, oh my gosh, and you can see the damage that he was right in front of that wreck and made contact with the 9. So Drabick, I mean, there is a lot that can happen here. You know, you just wonder what the extent of this damage is, but I mean, he's missing a hood. That front end is pretty tore up. You got to send it. You got to try to get a few spots, but Patrick Drabick may be in trouble. Well, I tell you what, we are 1 to green, and we're going to have this is not a green-white checker. It's going to be a green-green checker. Are we going to get to the end of this thing? I'm doubtful. Paystar's going to pull off. Jamie Barker's going to have a whole straightaway and a half of a turn to think about how he's going to restart this race. Scott Phelps, you know, if he goes up there and just wins the race, that's all he really needs to do. And Jacob Denson right behind him, he's teammates with Scott Phelps. He would love to get up there and take the win away from the 15 and all but guarantee Scott Phelps is going to be in the Final Four. So a lot that can happen right here. Marcus needs a good start. He gets one. As Scott Phelps did not get the thing going. I mean, how could you? That was such a great jump by the 15. Now the 7 to the inside of his teammate. Now takes one of the caution, is back out as Jacob Ellingson goes around. That's that catastrophic failure we talked about. He can't have that happen. And he goes around, and we're under caution again, and we're going to have our first green-white checker. What happened to the 27 here? Let's take a look. On this restart, he's got Alex Cruz right in front of him. Harcum does not go down below the yellow line. That's not on Harcum. Harcum does not have to go down there, and I think the 27 assumed he would and just went down, and unfortunately they make contact. So now Ellingson is in 11th place. Now I still think he is going to be okay. We talked about he was 9 points ahead, and he is not going to be able, I don't think, unless Scott Phelps gets up there and makes a call. I mean, there is a mathematical way, I'm sure. But I mean, honestly, guys, this is unbelievable. The storylines. I mean, if Trevor McManus was still up there, this would be the best because there is so much on the line here every single lap. That's what makes racing fun, man. This is why I love broadcasting. This is why I like broadcasting here at Goat Locker Racing because of the drama and all how difficult it is to win a championship here. I want to thank a couple sponsors while we have some time. I want to thank Jam Printing and Promotions for their sponsorship of Goat Locker. I want to thank Veterans for Life Foundation in partnership with GLR. They're giving away sim rigs. Man, well, that's so cool to vets. Trying to get them into iRacing. We've talked to quite a few drivers. Chuck Phelps being one of them that says, hey, this is my therapy. I love to get on here with the guys, race, have competition. And, man, they're making dreams happen, making guys, giving them opportunities to get on here and have fun with folks that they have a lot of in common with. And Goat Locker is just a safe haven, man, for all of vets, first responders. So really cool to see what they're doing. Cruising Classics, of course, has been around for so long. Ever since I've known Goat Locker, they've been around. And then, for the Goat Locker Truck Series and for V-Speed this season, Premier Racing Setups. So appreciate them coming on board. Sponsored 2 drivers into the Goat Locker Truck Series on Friday nights. We appreciate them. Of course, Right Now Roofing, the title sponsor of this series. And right now, their car out front, Jamie Barkus, got the number 15, Right Now Roofing. Chevy Camaro in a great spot to make that Final Four. He's just going to have to race his guts out for the next 2 laps. Now, if we get another caution, you'll have to rack them up and do it one more time. Only 2 green-white checkers. But, man, I tell you what, these caution laps are grueling because they're not counting off the lap total. The laps are frozen as we're under green-white checkered. So we're just running laps for nothing. Just give Jamie Barkus plenty of time to think about things that can go wrong. You just sit there and think, all right, you're in your head. You're overthinking things. You're not thinking things through 100%. You're going through all the scenarios in your head. This is what I got to do. This is what I've got to get on the gas here. I've got to watch out for him. You're just thinking about every single scenario. You got to get all that out of your head. Just say, okay, I know what I need to do. Get a good jump. Watch out for the dog leg and try to clear into 1 and 2. And once I get clear, do not let somebody get to the outside. That is going to be the killer for your race. So watch that outside. Don't let somebody sneak out there. And if anybody can do it, it's going to be Jacob Denson. Well, here we are. Green-white checker number 1. Jamie Barkus in a must-win situation now. With Scott Phelps there in 3rd, he's got to get this win. What's he willing to do to race for a championship? Into the Geico restart zone, goes immediately. Doesn't even take a second to think about it, and he is gone. Down onto the apron as they all fan out. Patrick Dravick going to drive up the 5th. He ain't got nothing. He ain't got nothing on that. He's missing a whole hood. Diving down to the inside. How big is that damage? He's going to have to get those points back, and you can see he's struggling. That car not driving. Oh, and he's losing time. You see he does not have the top speed. So Patrick Dravick frustratingly falling back. He's got to hold on to every spot. Jacob Ellingson trying to make up spots as well. All those points that he's losing are huge. But here we go. White flag is out for Jamie Barkus. Scott Phelps 0.3 of a second back. No caution is going to fly here at this last lap. Barkus comes off the corner, down the back straightaway. He's only got to make one more turn. Can he do it? Can he win himself into the Final Four, down into turn number 3? Comes off the corner, and Barkus does it. He wins here at Phoenix, and he'll be racing for a championship next week at Iowa. Patrick Dravick comes home in 6th with a damaged car. Will that be enough? Jacob Ellingson comes home in 7th. I think it's going to be enough. This is going to be crazy. Crazy because Scott Phelps was about 4 spots ahead of Patrick Dravick. And that was, they came into the race 3 points different. So, unless Patrick was able to lead a lap, he might just be 1 point out of this thing. And we're going to find out. We need to think about the leader. There's just so much stuff going on at the moment. But your winner here is Jamie Barkus. What a great victory for him, as his teammates are going to celebrate the win with him. And we'll see in a moment who is going to be your Final Four drivers. But we know one. We know two. Jamie Barkus, Jacob Denson for sure will be racing for a championship next week. See Alex Cruz joining the fun. Goat Locker always celebrating together. Well, let's take a short break. We're going to talk to your final 3, and then we will see who comes away with those final 2 championship Final Four spots. But we'll see in just a moment. We'll be back after just a minute. All righty, well, we're back, and here are your results. 6 cautions, 11 lead changes, and Jamie Barkus comes away with the victory with Scott Phelps. What a great drive out of him to come away with 2nd here tonight. That might just be enough to make into the Final Four. Chance Taylor, what a great drive by him as well to get 3rd position there at the end. Man, I didn't even mention him, and he had an opportunity there to steal a win away as well. Jacob Denson there in 4th, Alex Cruz in 5th. Dravick comes home in 6th. I don't think it was enough. We're going to see once everything is finalized. Jacob Ellingson comes away in 7th, Bobby Jermaine in 8th. George Jewell, incredible season by George. First season in the Xfinity cars, and he is, just had an amazing season, making the final 8. That's an impressive feat. But this will be his final hurrah in the championship race, or the hunt. John Anthony comes home in 10th position. 11th going to be Charlie Harcum. Matt Knight's in 12th. Trevor McManus. This is where it gets frustrating. McManus comes home in 13th. Needed that win. Levi McCarty makes contact, or Trevor makes contact with him, and he goes in the wall, then gets spun right after that, and he finishes in 14th. Tyler Justice Jonathan Barker, Tanner Bethea, Johnny Cofield, Craig Bontrager all had really, really frustrating races this afternoon. So, all right, well, we're going to give you the final four. Yeah, you already know two of them. We'll get to the interviews in just a second, but we want to announce it. This is official. This is not a unofficial thing. So your official final four drivers, I don't have a graphic on the board, but we'll just walk you through it. Jacob Denson, we know that. He won last week. He is in the playoffs. Jamie Barkis just won tonight in a massive, massive win. Had to come away with the victory to get it done, and he did that with just a great racing the second half of the race. Now, the ones in question are right after that, and that is we saw Trevor McManus needed to win. We know that Scott Phelps was there right on the cut line. With Jamie Barkis, winning the race, that kind of moved that cut line, and so it made it really, really interesting to see who's going to make it in. And your next driver in, able to recover after that spin, came home in seventh, is going to be Jacob Ellingson. Will be racing for the championship next week at Iowa. And your final spot, who made it in, and he finished third here tonight, and that's going to be Scott Phelps. Scott Phelps will be your final four driver, and he'll be racing for a championship at Iowa. So congratulations to the Final Four. But, hey, we got to talk to your winner. We got to talk to some of these drivers, and I can't wait to do it. We're going to bring Jamie Barkis up into the booth. Jamie, this is Eddie. You got a copy?
I got you, brother. I got you.
Man, you better have I know you're not a big smiler. I know you're not a big, you don't grin ear to ear very often, but I got to say, man, you better have one tonight. What a great drive. Talked to you before the race. You were so Eeyore about the whole thing. And I just wonder if that was you just not trying to make sure you didn't get overconfident. But you came out of the gates and you looked fast, and you had that contact. You went around. You had to go get a fast repair. And then tell me what was your thoughts once that was over with? You spun out, you got that fast repair. Now, what's the thoughts that's going through Jamie Barkis' head at that point?
I was pretty upset. That's what was going through my mind. It was a lot of it was unnecessary. So I didn't appreciate it at all. We got some new guys in the series that we let in, and they've all been told to not interfere with playoff drivers. But that's exactly what was happening out there. So I didn't appreciate that in the least. Use that. Actually, I was going to try to get away with using that fast repair, and I forgot to uncheck it. So that was on me. But then when it was gone, I was like, I've got to be pretty conservative the rest of the way. So I didn't. It took me a little bit to get going again, get back up there. I didn't want to get caught up in other stuff, but it just kind of unfolded for me. Avoided that. Trevor and somebody got together there that let me slip in and get the lead there, and didn't look back after that. So glad it worked out.
Yeah, there was so much going on. The points battle was unbelievable, and it just goes to show how difficult it is to make it in the Final Four. And you were definitely able to point your way in, but on those last few restarts, you look behind you, guess who's there? That's Scott Phelps. You had four or five spots on him for a long time there, and it was just, you felt like, okay, I can finish second. And then all of a sudden, Scott Phelps is behind you, and a win you had to have, and man, you went up there, you took it. Talk about those last few restarts. I said on the broadcast, you have, not you, but anybody can have a tendency of overthinking that. Okay, I got to do this, got to make, how do you keep your head clear and make sure that you don't make a mistake? You get gone and get that distance that you need as a leader. How do you kind of get your head right going into that green, white checkered?
Well, yeah, it was definitely stressful. Every restart, you just looking for something bad to happen. Phoenix, I wouldn't say Phoenix is too tricky, but it can be tricky. You can definitely lose the car if you're too shallow, cutting that dog leg there on a restart. So you got to be careful. I had Pat and I think Jake lined up there at one time. I thought we would be able to really take advantage of that. That didn't pan out for us, but like I was telling them, that was probably the most stressful 20 laps I think I've ran in a long time.
Well, you got it done though. How about that? You knew what you had to do, and you went out there and you made it happen. And now you got to be racing at Iowa in the Final Four, and you got to put the Right Now Roofing 15 Chevy Camaro in victory lane, and you get a chance at running for a championship next week. Now, next week. We got to move on. Yeah, we're going to celebrate. We're going to be happy, but I got to ask you. I mean, going into Iowa, that's a tough track, and Jacob Denson has been a stout all season long. So how do you win that championship next week?
I don't. I mean, I'm going to be at such a disadvantage next week, Eddie. I've got to leave Friday for work again, so I'll be out in California, sitting in a hotel, doing it off of my laptop with an old G29. I think is what I got sitting in a box out there waiting on me. So I will not be in my rig what I'm comfortable with. So I don't win. So that's the answer for you. But we'll get the
Well,
right
you
now
also,
the
hey,
Camaro.
look, you also said you weren't going to win tonight, and now look here. Look what we got going on right here. So, hey, don't sell
Look,
yourself short. I've seen people win NASCAR championships with
yeah.
a wooden desk and a lot of hope. So, you got enough hope, you might be able to get it done. So, don't sell
Yeah.
yourself too short.
I mean, look, if I pull it off, it'll be the biggest Timmy Hill moment of all time, I think. So yeah, but chances are it's not going to go very well. But we'll see. We're still going to get this right now, Roofing Camaro out there, and we're going to give it a try as best we can. But don't have high hopes.
Well, hey, you get a whole week to celebrate this win before you have to worry about that. So, congratulations on that win, and of course, man, who you got to thank?
We got to thank you first of all. And now you've made this move to, I guess, full-time fee speed thing, so that's great there. Do a great job. Can't wait to watch this back tomorrow morning. Obviously, I got to thank Right Now Roofing. They're on the car. They're the ones that sponsor this series, so I'm glad I was finally able to get that car in Victory Lane for them. We got a new one on board now, Lincoln Technical College, the Indianapolis campus. They're doing a lot of big things for us right now. Jam Praying Promotions, Veterans for Life Foundation, Cruising Classics, Above the Yellow Line, and Nasty's Restaurant and Bar. They put on a great show for them Saturday night, didn't we?
It was a good one. It was one for the ages, I'd say.
Yeah, and apparently went over really well. They actually re-showed the race again Saturday night for their later crowd.
Oh, dang,
So
a second show, and I love it.
Absolutely, people loved it. So we'll be doing more of that, I think.
Well, good deal. Well, congratulations on the win. Congratulations on moving on to the next round, and go celebrate with your teammates.
All right, thanks, Eddie.
Well, there you have it, your winner and Final Four driver, and we got more. We got your second place finisher and Final Four driver, Scott Phelps. Scott, this is Eddie in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I do, baby.
Woo! Well, first off, congratulations on making it into the Final Four. You're able to point your way in with a damn good drive. So congratulations on that. Now, this race was wild. There was a lot going on, and the point situation, you really could never chill out because you were kind of running towards the back, but you needed to keep Jamie Barkis sort of in sight. But if a new winner popped up, it would kind of change everything. So there was a lot going on. What were your thoughts through the race? I mean, you had, I hate to say you had one of the least stressful, but you didn't have to win. You only had to keep, the streak of getting into the top 5 by the end of the race going. So you had to feel confident with that. But with all the stuff that was going on, all the craziness that you get caught up in, tell me what you were thinking through the middle of the race. I mean, what was your strategy coming in, and how well do you think you executed up to about halfway?
Well, first of all, I'll say you're telling me now for the first time that I'm in, so that's awesome to hear.
Oh,
I'm in a way better
mood
mood to do this interview. I really, at the end there, I mean, the whole time I'm thinking, all right, I mean, who's behind me, who's in front of me, and Jamie Barkis was right there, and obviously the whole time I'm thinking if I can just get close enough to him, I mean, if we're 1-2, or I'm sorry, if he's right in front of me, then I'm fine. But if he wins, well, I might not be fine. So, I mean, the whole strategy through the race is just, relax, right? Because, I mean, it's crazy. It's kind of funny. I mean, everybody's on edge, right? Their thumb is on that talk button. They're ready to rip into somebody. I mean, the stuff that will happen in week 1, that people let go. When you get playoffs into it and everybody's tense and they're fired up, right? Completely different story. Now it's you're the worst and this and that. And so, I mean, it's, again, the whole time I'm thinking everybody's going to be aggressive, right? I'm really just looking to, run my race. And if we make it, we make it. If we don't, we don't. I really thought at the end there that I was kind of lucky to be in second where I was, but unfortunately, again, I thought, well, Jamie's right there gonna win, so I don't know how that plays out. So, just happy to be there. I mean, Jacob Denson is obviously, you know, really fast, and beating him is going to be not the easiest thing in the world. But hey, we're dancing, right? So I'm not complaining.
Yeah, I mean, you've seen tonight that anybody has an opportunity with how things can go, and then we're going to take it to a real short track at Iowa, and
Yeah,
that's really going to open it up. But I mean, you were able to make it in by 2 points. How about that? I mean, that is about as close
it's
as you get.
crazy.
Yeah, I mean, that's really really close. So, man, great job all season. I think you definitely deserve a spot in that Final Four. I think there's a lot of deserving people, but I think you definitely deserve it. Now you've been sort of the guy that hangs around and, hey, I'm going to get out there and just be safe and
Yeah,
kind of have those long runs and get there and finish in the top 5. You do have a win on the season, but next week, how does Scott Phelps fare at a a short track first off, but then
yeah,
where you can't just sit around and wait. You
right.
may not never see the opportunity to win a championship again.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, it's funny. We talked before about sort of that skill gap, right? And you have these groups, and I'll be the first to say, I think I fall right at the backside of that top group. I'm not. That's just where I'm at. I'm up there in the group, but I'm sort of like you said, I'm hanging around the back of the group, and the chips sort of have fallen in my favor. So I mean, going into Iowa, I think it's a matter of being prepared. I mean, it's difficult because Jared being my teammate, Jared Denson, he's also in it, so there's no give there, right? I mean, I don't know. I really don't. I think obviously, yeah, my strategy all season to kind of hang up at the front and see what falls is not it's not that aggressive winning strategy. But on the flip hand, I'll also point out a lot of those guys up there at the front this race had that like aggressive, like, oh my gosh, I got to make that move right now. I got to win this race. And look where they're at, So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's again, yeah, I mean, it's
Well,
one of those things
I'm
where,
gonna interrupt you. I'll counter your
no, go
counter.
ahead.
I'm gonna counter your counter. If you finish where you finished tonight and Jamie Barker's ahead of you, you don't win
Hey,
a championship. So
no, you
so
make a great point.
I'm
100%.
excited. I'm not being I'm not
No, I'm
downing
with
you
you.
at
I'm
all.
with you.
I'm excited to see what aggressive Scott Phelps looks like. That's what I'm excited for. I'm
Well,
excited for that guy that's like, hey, I'm ready to come swinging here
yeah,
at Iowa. So that's what I'm excited to see. Just how you change up your style, going into that race and knowing that, hey, I can't finish third, I can't finish second, I got to go out
right.
there and probably win this thing. So
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I think right at the end there, I mean, I found myself at the front, which I was happy about. But at the same time, I'm thinking, all right, well, if he wins, he might be ahead of me. I don't know where the others fall. It's not worth going up there and wrecking both of us. But to your credit, yes, next week it's
totally
hey,
different story. I love it.
totally different. I don't know, people can be mad at me, whatever they want to do after the race. I'm racing for a championship, so
That's right.
you'll see
Well,
me up there.
all right. Well, hey, looking forward to it. Can't wait to see how it's going to play out. I mean, definitely 4 of the best that's been there all season long. And man, gotta give you that opportunity here. Who helps you get around the track?
Absolutely. Well, obviously, big shout out to yourself and V Speed. I mean, what you guys do putting on this broadcast is awesome. Everybody loves it. Big shout out to you. You guys make it cool. Redbeard Design Company, Cruising Classics, Veterans for Life Foundation, Jam Printing and Promotions, and obviously Right Now Roofing for putting on the series. Those guys have been solid all season, so big shout out to them for letting us do it. Obviously, Feltz Media, B&H Racing, B&H IT Services, Little Miami Brewing, Ray's Imports, all the guys, the team. I mean, we're definitely talking strategy and trying to help each other out. We want to see each other do well as beat each other. But it's one of those things. We're just here to have fun, and that's what we do. So happy to be here.
All right. Well, there you have it. Scott Phelps going to be racing for a championship next week comes home second here tonight, and we got to talk to Chance Taylor, who has been very patient. Sorry it went a little long there, Chance, but we appreciate you waiting. You got a copy?
Yes, sir. How you doing tonight?
Oh, man, I'm doing good. And, hey, you've had a great season. You got into the Final Eight. You needed a Hail Mary here tonight. And, dadgummit, I'm going to be honest with you, there was so much going on and so much movement with all the points, and everybody was so close that I looked up and you finished third, and I couldn't believe it because you had been running in the back most of the race, it felt like, and you're able to find your way to the front. You needed that win to get into the Final Four. But, hey, look here, damn good season out of you. You're in the hunt for a lot of races. And just come up a little bit short. But congratulations on making the Final Eight, and congratulations tonight on third place finish. How's that 14 machine treating you tonight?
It was a little loose. Actually, was practicing earlier today and found out that I was practicing on the wrong Phoenix setup. So I actually had to buy the track before we raced and didn't have time to practice. So I went in kind of nervous about how I was going to do, and kind of just stayed in the back for a little bit, try to get my fill out the car, and I feel like every week I end up getting in a crash or something happens, so I'm trying to be a little bit more patient, and I'm just thankful to be up there and got a little bit of luck on my side too with those guys spinning out in front of me, so just happy to be up there.
Well, I mean, to kind of reflect on the season, I think, you've been in the conversation. You weren't able to get that win, but you're the best of the rest. I mean, you're the highest finishing driver with no win, and I know that probably didn't make you feel good, but honestly, it's a great stat because it just shows how consistent you were. You were able to move through the rounds, and just came up just a few points short, about 9 points short, 11 points short of the Final Four. So I mean, still a really good season for that 14 Ford Dark Horse. So definitely got enough speed to make it, but it's been a great one. So, congratulations on this third place finish. I hope you had fun this season. We were glad to have you, and kind of talk about how you feel about Iowa next week. Going to show up and race, do some short track racing with us.
Yeah, I'm for sure gonna show up, and I'm just thankful to be up there. This is my first year actually racing iRacing. I started about 3 weeks before I joined the league this year, so just I'm disappointed about not making it, but at the same time I'm happy to even be in the hunt. So I was gonna be fun, and I'm gonna still try to go for the win, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, well, hey, look, that ought to scare everybody. Just started iRacing, joins the league, and gets into the Final Eight and has a shot at the Final Four there at the end. That's awesome. Well, man, glad to have you. Hope you enjoyed this season, and looking forward to seeing if you can get that win next week at Iowa. And congratulations on that third place tonight. Who do you got to thank here tonight, Chance?
I appreciate it. I'd like to thank my wife to start out with, putting up with me on these Tuesdays and Thursday nights I race, and my brother Josh Blackburn, he watches every week, so got to thank him, and of course you, V-Speed, putting on a good broadcast here. Redbeard Design Company, Cruising Classics, Veterans for Life Foundation, Jam Printing and Promotions, and Right Now Roofing.
All righty. Well, there you have it. Chance Taylor, your third place finisher here tonight. And boy, oh boy, what an exciting race. Hope y'all enjoyed that. Want to thank everybody for who watched and was in chat here tonight. And definitely subscribe to V-Speed if you aren't. We're going to be on V-Speed every single night, it feels like. And I think there's broadcasts going every night here in V-Speed. So if you like good racing on iRacing, might as well subscribe to them, let them know, and check out some other races. Maybe find a league that you like. You never know. So, well, all righty. Well, that's going to do it. We're going to one more race before this thing is over with. Who's going to win a championship? I ain't got a dang clue. It's going to be exciting. This race is just a precursor, the penultimate race, if you will, to what is going to be an amazing race next week in Iowa. I just feel it. Well, all right. Well, this is the Goat Locker Xfinity Series. I'm Eddie Smith. Thank you for watching V-Speed, and we will see y'all next week. Come on by. Don't be a stranger. Hit that subscribe button. We want to see you in chat. We want to see you cheering on your favorite driver, especially next week. You've got one driver racing out of a hotel room for a championship. Hey, you can't do that in real life. That's why we love iRacing. Well, thank y'all, Adam Baker, Bradley Cooper, for everything that they do, and we'll see y'all